I'm still feeling sad, tired, and really down on myself. I know it's like you said last time that maybe it's a reaction to my taking a risk and showing more of my vulnerability, exposing more of myself through my writing.
Yes, that piece that you read to me last week was so powerful.
I know. You're supposed to say things like that. But I didn't get the response I was looking for. People praised my writing style, but no one said anything about me.
Wow.
Why would this devastate me so much? It's like I can't even move. All I've been doing is crying.
What were you hoping that people would notice about you? What were you hoping that, they might say to you?
I don't know. Maybe I wanted this one effort to make up for my family never noticing me. But that's a dead-end street, isn't it? No amount of praise or noticing will ever make up for that.
Well, I think you might be onto something there. And so, do you think that perhaps this is why so much grief came up for you this week?
I think that's part of it.
Uh-huh. And
I'm afraid that I'm too much for people. I'm afraid that when I finally do show more of who I am, that people will feel intimidated. That when I finally come out with more of myself, that it'll be too much and people will try to distance themselves from me because I'm too intense.
Too intense? In what way?
Maybe that my needs are too intense, that my desire to be noticed is too much. I'm afraid that I'll want to take up all the airspace and not give anyone else their day in the sun. That if the attention is away from me, that I'll want to redirect it back onto myself, maybe by making the most astute comment or something, or making a subtle criticism.
Did something like that actually happen?
Well, not at the poetry reading, no, but last weekend I went out with Rhonda and Pauline. Rhonda's been encouraging me to mend fences with Pauline. But I don't trust Pauline after what happened last year. But I went anyway to please Rhonda. And I felt really nervous because Pauline is always really competitive with me. So we were talking about politics, and I had a lot to say. I feel like I was pretty animated, and I feel like I showed more of myself.
Yeah.
I thought everything went okay. But then Rhonda called me later, very upset, saying that I cut her off and that I diminished and ridiculed her whenever she voiced her opinion. And then when I thought about it, I realized that she was right. And I felt horrible. See, that's the part of me that's filled with disgust.
You feel disgust about yourself?
Yes. Yes, it's disgusting. It's like the part of me that's like Gollum who's saying, my precious, but then all the while the claws are out and someone needs to be sacrificed.
I'm a little confused. Why would someone always need to be sacrificed? Are you referring to all situations where you're with a group of people?
No, it never seems to happen with men, only women.
All women?
No, not all women, just women with a mean streak or women that I can't trust.
You mean like Pauline?
Yes. But I didn't go after Pauline, I went after Rhonda. Why would I go after the weak ones?
Well, were you a little afraid to challenge Pauline? When you told me about your conversation last year, it didn't go so well.
No, I think that's part of it. I was nervous about seeing Pauline. Maybe that's why I was talking so much, trying to prove something to her, trying to prove how smart I am.
Well, I also remember you telling me that Pauline reminded you an awful lot of your mother.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But I took my mother on. I was the only one that challenged her directly.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to do any good. She never listened to you. She never modified her behavior. She never comforted you. She never really saw you for the real you.
You're right. But that doesn't explain why I went after Rhonda. See, I'm disgusting. I hate this part of myself. It's like I can't receive anything, including acknowledging that I'm big, acknowledging that I'm intelligent. It's like there's two parts of myself that exist really close together. You know, and the one part is the one that will do this at other people's expense.
Well, I can see how it must feel that way to you, but I also want to remind you that when you were a teenager and you tried to speak up for the unfairness and the injustice in your family that your mother was doing to you and your siblings, that nobody came to your defense.
No. You're right, they ran and hid. You know, my younger sister told me years later that they all knew I was trying to protect them.
And yet, nobody came to your defense.
No, nobody did. And it's just like Rhonda. She didn't come to my defense either. Last year when Pauline went ballistic at that party yelling at me drunk as a skunk, Rhonda did nothing. And then she tried to minimize Pauline's behavior by saying it was just the alcohol talking. She just wants to pretend as if nothing happened. She wants me to go on pretending as if nothing happened. And it's just like in my family. And we're all still pretending. We're supposed to get together at holidays and reunions and just be one big happy family. No one does anything about Mom's jabs.
So maybe you're trying to tell me that you have a little bit of resentment toward Rhonda as well, and toward your siblings,
Mm-hmm.
for that matter, because none of them came to your defense. So I guess I'm wondering, are you worried that if you don't sacrifice someone in what feels like a potentially unsafe or dangerous situation, that you're going to be the one that's sacrificed?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like someone always needs to be sacrificed. And I was the living sacrifice in my family, wasn't I?